show was made possible with the support of the BC.game affiliates, crypto casino and slot games. Hello, all my friends around the world, and I do have friends all around the world. Thank you so much for joining me on another edition of APCW Perspectives. We are now 5 weeks away from the ICE and IGB affiliate shows in London, and while we deal with pestilence on one hand and war on the other, hopefully the show will move forward without any additional horsemen of the apocalypse showing up. More on that and the situation in Ukraine in the second half of the program. First, no matter how depressing the global situation may be, business continues, at least for now, with a story involving 888 and the UK Gambling Commission. And as critical as I have been about the Commission in recent weeks and months, I must say that I do fully support their decision to fine 888 over £9 million for failures in social responsibilities and money laundering rules, as well as acting like turds in general. For example, 888 set their deposit threshold for player financial checks to £40,000, thus preventing them from ever identifying or interacting with a player who lost £37,000 in just 6 weeks. Additionally, 888 allowed another player who earned just £1,400 a month to set their monthly deposit limit to £1,300. And there's more. No source of funds checks for a player who lost £15,000 in 3 weeks, or another who lost over £65,000 in just 5 months. Hearing this, is it any wonder that public opinion of our industry in the United Kingdom is so low? Because this sort of shit writes the headlines for our haters. But public opinion aside, it really just, chaps my ass that any company, large or small, gambling or not, would knowingly, willingly hurt people for profit. But that's exactly what 888 has done. But when we come back, talk about the biggest piece of shit in the world. And I bet you know who that is. From time to time on this program, I must talk about issues that aren't directly related to our industry. Issues that are not fun to address, but must be addressed. From time to time, global events influence our industry in profound ways. Not too long ago, it was the pandemic. It was a faceless virus lacking emotion or conscience. And while it was devastating, we dealt with it as a global community. Now, however, we all watch helplessly in horror as reports and pictures stream in from Ukraine. We are once again dealing with a virus lacking emotion or conscience, but this time it does have a face and a name: Putin. A few days ago, our friends at Clarion made the decision not to allow Russian companies or their representatives at their events. And while I fully appreciate their position is different than mine, and I understand that they feel the need to publicly take a stand, take a position, I have to add this. The online gambling industry has not only blessed me with the job that I love and income, but also the ability to travel and meet people from all over the world, people who, for the most part, are very much like myself. We go to work, we love our families, and in general, we just want to live in peace and be left the hell alone. I can honestly say that because of the online gambling industry, I have friends all over the world that I love dearly, truly. From the United Kingdom to Australia, from Central America to Scandinavia, Israel down to South Africa, and all across Europe, including Ukraine, and yes, in Russia. I weep for those innocent victims in Ukraine, men, women, and children. And I remember that many Russian soldiers were drafted, and they would rather be home with their children as well. I think about those poor souls in the Ukraine, and I think about my Russian friends, Valerie, Dmitry, Natalie. And as an American, I can appreciate how you can love your country but hate its actions, how you can love its citizens but hate its leadership. I've traveled many places in my 20 years in this industry, and not one time has anyone ever asked me, hey, why'd you guys invade Panama? Or that little island, Grenada, was it? No one's ever said, hey, American, why did you stay so long in Afghanistan? Or, excuse me, Yankee, where are those Iraqi weapons of mass destruction you guys used to invade that country? The president doesn't consult me on such things. The government kind of does what it wants. So, while I am outraged and weep for Ukrainians, I put the blame on one man, one murderer, one coward, one insane little piece of shit called Putin. And just as we had to eradicate COVID, dare I say, we need to eradicate that man as well. All this pain, all this suffering can end with one well-placed bullet. God willing.